Good evening, everybody. Welcome to It's a Crime. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Linda. And tonight we are going to get into a lot of cases. I spent a lot of time in preparing. It's a full-time job just finding out the case updates, let me tell you. So happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you guys. It's funny because I didn't know that there's a whole ordeal with children in St. Patrick's Day. I don't remember it being like that. So I find out last night that indeed that the leprechaun comes to the house. So I didn't know that. I was scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on with the leprechaun. So, anyways, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm in the car driving, and my kid's like, I can't wait, Mummy, to go hunting tomorrow for what the leprechaun left me. And I'm going, oh, yeah? Were you hunting at school or actually at home? Yeah, at home. Okay. So I was scrambling, but he paid the visit and all is well. I had no idea. It's a thing. It is a thing. Welcome everybody. So I know, right? I didn't know, and the mom's like, "Oh yeah, you put like food coloring in the toilet and make it green, and he plays pranks." And I'm going, "Where have I been? I have no idea. I didn't do this with my first kid. What's going on?" So it is what it is. All right, so we're going to go through quite a few updates. What I'm going to do is go through one of the cases, then we'll chit chat about it, then we'll go to another case, and then we'll chit chat about it, and we'll just keep doing that. There's a lot to talk about. And then what I'll do, if you're watching this on the replay, I will actually have the cases listed and then the links below it so that you know what's going on. And if you want to see the rest of the playlist, you can do that. So I'll give a minute while people are filing in. Okay, see? Same thing happened with your son. There you go. See? Who knew? Like Elf on the Shelf. Yeah, I didn't know all this stuff. I think it's Matt's birthday today, too. Happy birthday, Matt. I see you're in here. Oh, it's already getting hot. All right. Here we go, you guys. Are you ready? Have you been following the cases? Let me know in chat or in the comments. Have you been following these cases? There's a ton to go through. I literally spent 6 hours today going through it. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not doing a video. I'm just going to do a live stream. We can all chit chat about it and get mad together. All right. So first, let's talk about Lori Daybell. We'll get that out of the way. There was a closed hearing for Lori in early March, and those records have been sealed. Remember, Lori has been getting restorative treatment. So there were 2 orders that were logged in this hearing in the beginning of March, and she's been in treatment for 180 days. She did the 90, and then she went back for another 90, and so she's almost what is 6 months already. So we should be finding out what the deal is, if she's incompetent or competent. But it showed that the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, along with 2 doctors, submitted reports to Judge Boyce. And he says, the order from the judge says, it is hereby ordered that the documents be sealed because the information in the report concerns the defendant's mental health records and restorative treatment. The defendant's privacy interests in having her mental health treatment records remain confidential, predominate over the public's interest in having the information disclosed. So we should be finding out soon. Like I said, if she's incompetent, then she's going to be staying in the hospital until she is competent. And then if she is competent, then we'll get the ball rolling. Now, the thing is Lori hasn't even had her arraignment. She was indicted last June or last summer from a grand jury, and she has not had her arraignment. So she would go to her arraignment, and then she would enter her plea, and then just keep going with the preliminary, just like how Chad Daybell has done. So And if she is competent, then things will proceed under two conditions. Number one, she's able to assist in her own defense, and two, that she understands her charges. And then we move forward. Now, interesting, there's no insanity defense in Idaho, and it says it's rare for a case to be paused and never resumed because of competency. And I remember a while back, even listening to different cases and things about this competency, because a lot of people were like, well, she's not competent, then what's going to happen? But she's going to be in restorative treatment until she's able to, and then they're just going to pluck her and put her back into move forward. So that's it. Her charges are conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the death of Tylee Ryan, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the death of JJ Vallow, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder in the death of Tammy Daybell, first-degree murder for the death of Tylee Ryan, and first-degree murder for the death of JJ Vallow, and grand theft related to Social Security survivor benefits over $1,000 allocated for Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. All right, so let me just check here. I'm going to keep going here. Thank you, Brent. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And welcome to our new Crime Ring member, Honey Bear. Welcome. All right, so where are we? So moving forward, she would go in front of a judge and she would make her plea of guilty or not guilty. And remember though, remember her lawyer, Mark Means, he's kicked off the case. So he's not going to be there anymore. Just a little reminder. We know about him. I'm thankful. I'm just reading through his documents. And when you read through them, it's just torture to read them out loud. Try it sometime just for giggles. Okay, Chad Daybell. Chad's case has a few things going on. It's a little bit of a hot mess right now. There was a hearing today, March 17th, and there's a hearing tomorrow, March 18th. And there's 3 current motions to be heard this week, okay? Motion to sever, which is tomorrow. Motion to reconsider transfer of venue, which is tomorrow. And a motion to dismiss, which is March 23rd. And John Pryor, Chad's lawyer, has filed motions as well for dismissal of the indictment due to failure to seal an impartial grand jury. And we're not done. There's more. John also filed motions to disqualify the prosecuting attorney, to disqualify the out-of-state prosecuting attorney, say that really fast, and set aside the indictment and strike the death penalty. So, like tall orders here, right? This is what he's asking for. And for disclosure of homicide and death penalty cases that Rachel Smith has served as counsel or worked on pro hoc vice or consulting capacity. So he's just like, let's just chuck everything at the wall and see what sticks at this point. Gina says, I'm glad too that Mark is fired. It was painful. Yay! Welcome, Kay. Thank you so much. Welcome from Australia. You are, what is it now? You're in the mid-morning, early morning? Or afternoon? Can't remember what that is. You have to tell me. Yeah, so Deborah says, what did I miss? We're just talking about the Daybell case and the court updates. So John Pryor is going for gold. He was in court today whining a little bit, but he does it every court hearing, in my opinion. But there was an issue from the prosecution. They said, look, we're trying to get some information, and the information needs to be updated, and we don't know what to do. We tried to get it updated, and the person at the court says you're going to have to go ask the judge. So they're going, this is why we're here. We want to get the information. And all it pertained to in the first part of the hearing, you couldn't really understand what the heck, like what information are they talking about? But then it came out, it had to do with the budgeting for change of venue and all that. So they're just having some issues. They want to update the numbers and make sure it's accurate to give to John. But John doesn't see it that way. John sees it as, well, I don't trust him the first time. I'm going to trust him the second time. Blah, 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 and he goes on a rant. I'm still shocked that, Judge Boyce doesn't roll his eyes at the back of his head. He does his very best. So basically it was, I don't know, half an hour of that. I think it was a half an hour, an hour. I don't remember. It's been a long day. That's all I've been doing is watching court stuff. So basically the judge said, look, you have 2 weeks, get your stuff, get the information, get it to John. That way John can look at it, see what he needs, blah, 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 and then move forward. And he scheduled the deadline for April 1st to get this all sorted. Basically 2 weeks for the prosecution and then whatever John needs. April 1st is the deadline. And they also have a court hearing on April 20th regarding all this. Now, remember, Chad's trial is on January of 2023. So tomorrow there's more court hearings. And in March 23rd, they're also going to hear the motion to dismiss, which, tell me right now, what do you guys think? Do you think they're going to dismiss the case? My opinion, no, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. Thank you, Answer Tarot, for a super sticker. Cute. Thank you so much. I like the answer with the 3. I like that. Shirt's going to hit the fan. So, what do you guys think? Not a chance. No way in hell. Heck no. Heck no. Okay, yeah. Me neither. Now, interesting thing about Chad Daybell. On East Idaho News, they had an article that said that he is not going to be charged in regards to the Brandon Boudreau case. Remember, Brandon Boudreau had his an attempt made on his life by Alex Cox. But Alex was talking and chit-chatting with Chad all day on the phone, back and forth, when this happened. So it just came out. If you guys want me to read it to you, let me see if I can find it quickly. Yeah, here it is. That was quick, right? Prosecutors in Arizona will not file conspiracy to commit murder charges against Chad Daybell in the attempted shooting case of Brandon Boudreau, which is who is Lori Vallow Daybell's former nephew-in-law. The announcement came Thursday afternoon in a statement from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, and it says, after a lengthy and careful review of the charge of conspiracy to commit murder on Chad Daybell, the Maricopa County Attorney's Office has decided to turn down the case, citing no reasonable likelihood of conviction. So there's that. All right. Welcome, Michelle, to the crime ring. Welcome. So that's about it. We have until January of 2023. We should find out soon, though, what's going on with Lori. They have to figure out something. So that's put in place. They have the documents from the doctors. They'll review it, and then we'll go from there. And we'll see what happens in these other motions. And I don't think anything's going to happen with the dismissal. The trial's supposed to be held in Boise, Idaho. I'm saying it right, Boise. Not a Z. All right, next. Ready for the next one? Marianne says, yeah, I made it live. Welcome, Jenny. Welcome, welcome. All right. I heard about this. Jeep Girl Jody says, I'm joining late, but I wanted to tell you they found a body in Clear Creek. I saw on the news a few days ago. No ID yet that I can tell might be Suzanne. I hope so. I heard about that. I think it's just south of Broomfield, if I'm remember correctly, southeast a little bit. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you. All right. And Chuck 420, welcome. All right. So Summer Wells, let's talk about her for a minute. This is interesting. There was an interview with Candace's mom, Candace Harrer, and people call her Grandis, right? A lot of people do. She's the grandmother to Summer. In her interview, she said, "It's heartbreaking and have to go through it again with my granddaughter Summer. That's what a lot of people don't understand is what a parent goes through, what a grandmother goes through. I know it's hard for them if they pass away from COVID or some other tragedy. It's the not knowing, it's what tears us up." Now, there's another, I will say that in a minute. I was making sure I included it. So I don't know if you saw the interview with Grandis, but it was the beginning of March, I believe, so just a week or two ago. And what happened was Sheriff Ronnie Lawson on March 1st said that Dawn and Candace were not cooperating right now. They have attorneys. And that's when they were doing a search again around the property and area, the Beach Creek area, where Summer went missing. So Grandis gets on camera and says, "I'm here. As far as I know, Candace isn't not cooperating." And she says, "I can't speak for Dawn." Now, Candace at the same time, so regular Candace, Candace Bly, not Grandis, Candace didn't want to go on camera. She didn't, with the news, she didn't want to talk about her new YouTube channel, which she has, and she did not want to talk about Dr. Phil. That's what the reporter said. And but she did say that she's never stopped talking to law enforcement and has not lawyered up. And she could not, it says, however, she said she could not speak for her husband and Summer's father, Don Wells, and also thank those who have searched for Summer. And it says, Mr. Lawson stated that Candace and the whole family lawyered up. I can't speak for Donnie, and I know Candace hasn't because she told me she hasn't, and I have not. This is what Grandis said. If law enforcement wants to talk to me, TBI wants to talk to me, they have my phone number. They know when I leave the state, know when I'm here. So this is the first time we're hearing from Grandis in, what is it, almost 10 months, 9 months. And she talked about her relationship with Dawn, her son-in-law. This was interesting. She says, Dawn and I don't always see eye to eye, but what son-in-law does see eye to eye with his mother-in-law. But we get along. We're not down each other's throat or anything, but we get along. And I've always given him and the kids and Candace always their space. When he comes home, I go to my camper, but now that he's in jail, I'm back and forth. So because she goes back and forth. I can't remember what state it is. Remind me, you guys. It's been a long day. I put in the date of the live stream. I put May 17th instead of March because I've been sitting in May in all the court cases all day. So Wisconsin, that's it. I knew it was a whoop. All right. So I found that interesting. Now, Candace, Candace didn't want to go on camera to respond about this lawyer business. And that's when she said she didn't want to address the YouTube channel. And the new channel that she has is under her name, Candace Bly, not the one, the Don Wells official family, whatever it is, YouTube channel. So this is interesting in itself. But let's talk about her channel for a minute. Have you guys seen it? Let me know in the comments, whether it's the replay or in chat, if you've heard about this. So I watched 2 videos today while I was researching. There's quite a few, but one of them was, her typical kind of, from what we saw in Dawn's, like the slideshow stuff. But there was one that's very, very interesting. And it says Q&A, something like Q&A. And What's interesting about it is 25 minutes long. Candace has a friend there and she keeps looking up, and the friend, you can hear her because she's almost facilitating the live stream. And what the focus was on the live stream, it says Q&A, but it was asking for donations. But the friend said people are asking about the donations, if they can donate or help. So they did this Cash App type thing. And what was the other thing? And a wish list. I never did see the wish list. Maybe I missed it. Now, what was interesting on that was there was really not a whole lot of Q&A going on. Kind of like, Candace, what kind of coffee do you like to drink? And she's like, I like to drink coffee with French vanilla creamer in it. She answered something with Summer saying she likes pizza and they liked to go fishing. So there was a couple things. At the very end, like the last 2 minutes, I'm going to pull this because I did screenshot it. She says at the 24-minute mark, just to let everybody know, I'm not answering no questions about the case. That's not what's going on tonight. So I find that a little bit interesting. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I am saying it's very interesting, especially for these two reasons. Well, two reasons. One, she doesn't want to go on camera with the reporter. She doesn't want to talk about her YouTube channel with the reporter. And she doesn't want to talk about her time on Dr. Phil. That I can understand because it was pretty emotional for her. But she didn't want to talk about her YouTube channel and she didn't want to go to camera. So she wrote something out. But yet we see her on her YouTube channel and she's talking on there and they're talking about money. Again, if people are asking, hey, how do we donate? Okay. I just found it a little bit, it's just a little bit odd at the end where her child is missing. And there was a couple questions that, how can we help or what do you need? And it was straight away like, I don't really need anything. But again, from the sounds of it, people were asking how they donate. So they had it. But the whole thing was about Q&A. But in 25 minutes, there wasn't a lot of questions, maybe 5 questions. Maybe that's on the low end. Again, I didn't write down and I didn't keep track, but it did seem like, time went by and there was still nothing really answered. So I'm just saying it's a little bit different to me. Oops, I just bonked my head. I thought it was a little bit further. Don't worry, I'm okay. It's not that bad. I do find it weird that she is not willing to go on camera and talk about her YouTube channel, but she's over here with her YouTube channel talking on there. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit weird, right? It's just a little weird. So, I don't know. Maybe she's getting the word out. I should have probably watched some more, but again, I just watched a few. So, however it works, I mean, that might have been her first live stream and they're not the easiest either. So it's probably why her friend's helping her. I could see that. So just thought you guys would like to know that. Let's see what else. Of course, we have the number if anybody has information, 423-272-7121. I'll have this in the description box below, or 1-800-TBI-FIND. So if you need to go check that out, I might have I don't think I wrote it down, but I'll do it again. So just stick it down. I'll stick it down in the description box below if you want the link, and you can go check her YouTube channel out. But you can just go to YouTube and put Candace Bly, check her out. Okay. Do I think that there will be an arrest soon? Well, in my experience, just in general, in any case that I've been seeing, minus Chris Watts, for the last 2 years, it's like a legit 1 year, and then you start seeing movement, right? Pretty much. So I'm not going to say anything till the 1 year mark, which is coming up in a couple months. I don't know what they have. There's not a whole lot of information. I mean, there is with timeline and stuff, but we haven't heard things kind of like how we have in the other cases. So I don't know. Until there's some concrete information that comes through, that's when I'll cover the case in a video, like my timelines or maybe connecting dots, some information. But I have a hard time in this case because there's not a lot of info, meaning directly from, documents or anything like that. So Debbie asks about what's the money for. They said the money, they just said people had been asking if they can donate some money to her. So they set up this cash app. So, and the friend's helping out. Somebody was telling me there was an interview. I haven't, all I was told was there was 5 hours worth of information from this Jose guy, but I have not even gone there. One sec, I gotta write something down so I can remember to tell you guys about it. We still have pages and pages and pages to go through. It's gonna take a while. Okay. Okay, so next, do I finish? Oh yes, let's just talk about the search again because it was saying that the search that was happening around the house, they used upgraded aviation equipment with surveillance with thermal imaging. And one more thing before I move on, Dawn said something to News Nation now. I don't know the exact date, but it was recent. I don't know if they talked to him in jail or what's going on, but they said when Don Wells was questioned in an interview with News Nation Now, Don Wells, when questioned, said that he was pretty certain that Candace did not know what happened to her daughter, but that the biggest mistake she could have made was choosing some wrong friends. No one knows what that means, the article says, but Don Wells has never said that before. So it begs the question, which wrong friends did he mean? Stay tuned. And there's a $74,000 reward. So that's that for Summer Wells. You might know more than I do in that case with all the buzz and a bunch of people doing different videos and whatnot. But that's what I got for the concrete news. So I'm going to switch gears now into a different case. And we're going to talk about Brian Laundrie for a minute now before everybody goes, oh my God, I don't want to talk about him anymore. Can we please stop talking about him? We're just going to talk about him a little bit more. Okay, just a little bit more. So Gabby Petito's dad, Joe Petito, and Gabby's mom, Nicole Schmidt, are suing Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie. Okay. And they believe, and it's something that we've kind of known, really, not known, but know. They believe that Brian told his parents about what he did to Gabby and killed her. And in the following days, not only kept it secret, but they believe that Brian's parents were going to try and get him out of the country. Okay. So the documents state Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie exhibited extreme and outrageous conduct, which constitutes behavior under the circumstances which goes beyond all possible bounds of decency and is regarded as shocking, atrocious, and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. It says Gabby's parents believe that Brian killed Gabby on August 27th. That was the day that they had that fight at the Mary Piglets. Remember, they went and they got into a fight there. It says the cause of her death was blunt force injuries to the head and neck with manual strangulation. On August 28th, Gabby's parents believed that Brian advised his parents that he had killed Gabby. And in the documents, it said that Christopher and Roberta Laundrie spoke with attorney Steve Bertolino. We remember him. At that same day, sending him a retainer to secure his services on September the 2nd. Now, it says that Brian tried to deceive Nicole by texting her messages from Gabby's phone and returned in the van to his parents' Florida home on September 1st. Then, on September 6th and the 7th, that's when they went on vacation to Fort DeSoto Park. Meanwhile, Gabby's family are worried about where Gabby is, right? And trying to get a hold of Brian and his family. Like, we can't get a hold of Gabby. What's going on? And all of a sudden, Brian's back in Florida. So now this is where it gets interesting, because around September 10th, this is new news from, recent news, I should say. Roberta blocked Nicole on her cell phone. So she can't text, she can't call, she can't do anything. She blocked her and blocked her on Facebook. That to me is like, really? Anyway, the next day on September 11th is when they reported Gabby missing. Because remember, they're like, okay, maybe there's just no cell service in the beginning, right? Then we're starting to worry. Now we're starting to reach out. Now we're reaching out to Christopher, reach out to Brian, then reach out to Christopher and Roberta. They're not answering. What's going on? We just want to know. And all of a sudden they find on the 1st that he's back with, or I think it was after the 1st that they found out for sure, but because they were still in the process trying to find out what's going on. But still, he's back with Gabby's van and no Gabby. Where the heck is Gabby? So she's trying to reach out mother to mother, right? Hey, where's my daughter, right? Now you're super confused. Not only you don't know where your daughter is, but you're really confused. Why the heck you're not being talked to? Like, why aren't they answering me? These kids have been together. They're supposed to be getting married and the parents aren't talking to me. What the heck, right? So on September 11th, they reported Gabby missing. And then on the 16th, that's when Gabby, remember they had a lawyer plead publicly, basically, for the whereabouts. The lawyer read, please, if you or your family have any decency left, please tell us where Gabby is located. Tell us if we are even looking in the right place. All we want is for Gabby to come home. Please help us make that happen. And all we heard was crickets, right? There was nothing, nada. Now, the lawsuit also says that and alleges that while the search for Gabby was underway, Chris and Roberta were making arrangements for Brian to leave the country. We heard a lot of buzz about this, actually, during when this all happened. And they didn't, though, in the documents provide any evidence to support why they think that this was going on. And then we know that Gabby was found on September 19th. And then October 20th was when Brian was found, right? And that's awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. The mods are awesome. Thank you for helping me out, mods. I love you guys. It goes on to say, Gabby's parents say that Laundrie's lack of communication and actions caused them to suffer mental anguish, pain, and a loss of capacity for enjoyment of life in the past and days ahead. Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie knew of the mental suffering and anguish of Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt, and knew that they could alleviate, at least in part, such mental suffering and anguish by disclosing what they knew about the well-being and the location of the remains of Gabrielle Petito, yet they repeatedly refused to do so. In doing so, Christopher Laundrie and Roberta Laundrie acted with malice or great indifference to the rights of Joseph Petito and Nicole Schmidt. Imagine that. You're already tormented by not knowing where your child is. And then these guys are doing that. Sorting that out. I mean, I don't even know how, anyways, I don't even know how people can live with themselves. It says in a statement to People, Richard B. Stafford, the Petito's family attorney, said the Laundries had multiple opportunities to tell Gabby's family where her remains could be found. Instead, it says Christopher and Roberta Laundrie showed callous indifference to the suffering of Gabby's family and compounded her family's anguish, pain, and suffering by their actions. For this, Christopher and Roberta must be held accountable. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this. But Mr. Bertolino responds. We've heard him respond before. This is a very similar response that we've heard before, but we'll talk about what I feel in a minute. Okay. It says, however, in response to the lawsuit, Bertolino, the Laundrie's attorney, said that they were within their rights not to talk to the Petito's family. I get there's rights. I get there's laws. Says this lawsuit does not change the fact that the Laundries had no obligation to speak to law enforcement or any third party, including the Petito family. This fundamental legal principle renders the Petito's claims to be baseless under the law. The lawsuit seeks damages of at least $30,000 according to the documents. Now, let's have a little discussion about this, because I get it's in their rights. They don't have to. Okay. But what giant red flag would you have if your child's spouse, all of a sudden your child's gone, your spouse back at mommy and daddy's house, and mommy and daddy's not talking to you, and you're wondering what the heck's going on? Now your spidey sensors are like, there's something seriously wrong here. Where's my child? And why aren't you talking to me? Then you find out your child is dead. And then you're thinking, now I guess I know why those you-know-whats are not talking to me, right? I mean, let's back this up. If Brian didn't do it, which we know he did because he confessed to it, but if he didn't do it, right, what would that actually look like? Oh, hey, no, I don't know where she is. What the heck? He just came in. He's so upset. He doesn't know where she is. He doesn't know where to put himself, left or right. You can get that. It's terrible. Terry says parents should pay for the search. Also, $100,000 isn't enough, and it had a family camping trip. Yeah. Remember, I said this in my videos. They go on a camping trip, right? Like they wouldn't talk if they didn't know, like they wouldn't talk about Gabby. Hey, where's Gabby? How was your trip? What'd you guys do on the trip? Where's Gabby? Right? So there's a law that, what's the word? There's law and there's a moral compass. I get, okay, let's pretend we're the Laundries and the child did something, okay? I understand wanting to protect your child, but there's also right and wrong. So maybe there's, they were torn or maybe not. It didn't look to be too torn. The only time we saw Chris Laundrie get upset is when somebody put on their lawn, what if it was your daughter? And then he got mad. Didn't get mad about anything else. Well, I can tell you this. If my son had a girlfriend who went missing and he didn't have anything to do with it, I'd be with the other parents. Like, what do you need me to do? You want me to go on my channel? I'll put what do you want me to do? Right? And if he did, well, he's going to have to do something. You can't just sit there and not do, I don't know. Anyways, I'm just different that way. I don't know. And I can't say unless I was actually in, 100% in that situation. We can't. But at the same time, the torture, I agree, to the point of you already are going through hell that you don't know where your child is. And then you have people who you thought you could trust. You can't even talk to them. And then Brian goes missing, and you could have had that, support to each other if it was, if he was actually innocent. you'd have that support. So anyway, it's a weird case that way. Thank you, Mimi. So beautiful. John Williams says responsibility report is increasingly being legislated. Good. Well, we are seeing that in cases of like with Evelyn Boswell, right? To report her baby missing. They put in Evelyn's law. So yeah, absolutely. Interlocution. I haven't seen you in a while. Bertolino is a hack. The rules for a civil suit are different from criminal charges. Thank you. Thank you, interlocution. I haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you. Yeah, he gets riled up, that Bertolino. I've seen a couple things, and yeah, I made a couple statements in my videos prior. You guys can check out my different type of videos. I still stand by what I said about Brian Laundrie before. Absolutely. Absolutely important. What? Bubba says, my wife loves you and I feel she's cheating on me with your videos. Well, tell her I love her too, and it's okay, Bubba. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so it's really tough. Really tough. And I mean, it still doesn't bring her back even with this, Of course. We did talk about this too a while ago. We were wondering if they were going to get in any trouble, and I think it was announced that they weren't. I don't want to say that because I can't 100% say, but I thought they said they weren't going to do anything. I don't know. Looks like I'm a little behind on the comments for some reason. Rose. Duh, we all cheat with Linda. Yes, this is live, KH. This is live. All right, so I know, Ash, I know. Legality, morality, I know. It's tough. All right. Yeah, so where was I? I read that already. Okay, yeah. Let's go to the next one. This one is a case that you might not have heard of, or you've kind of heard of. It's from Canada, and I covered it in one video. Her name is Elnaz Hajtimiri. So this is really interesting because this is actually happening only an hour, or happened an hour south of where Justin Evans lives or lived. And I've been covering that case for the last year and a bit. And Elnaz is a woman who moved 5 years ago, I believe it was 5 years ago, from Iran. And she ended up in December coming home to her apartment, went to the garage, got like her parking garage with her car, got out of the car, and two guys attacked her with a frying pan. And she had a cut down here, had some stitches, all kinds of things happening. So she goes and calls the cops, tells them about this, what this happened. She was attacked. Now, they said, okay, we found a tracker on your car, or trackers on your car, and we need you to go somewhere safe. So she decides to go somewhere safe. And she goes to this place called Wasaga Beach. And she's staying with a family friend. And somebody comes knocking to the door. They hear knock, and three men are at the door in police-issued uniforms. And they say they're there to arrest Elnaz. They overpower the guy, or I don't even know his guy, the person that answered the door who owns the home, overpowered this person and grabs Elnaz and drags her through the snow. She's barefoot, tosses her phone, and puts her in a white Lexus. And then they drive off. And Elnaz hasn't been heard since. Now, 9 days after she was abducted, her ex-boyfriend gets charged with criminal harassment. I'm thinking because of those trackers, right? Stalking charge in Canada. I don't know. Do they call it criminal harassment in the States? Because they call it criminal harassment for stalking up here. So he gets charged, but there's no sign of Elnaz. And they don't say anything much more about what's going on. Okay. So now here's where it's interesting. Justin Evans' case that I've covered, if you haven't looked at the case, look at it, because there is some protocols by the cops that was not followed, let's just say, okay, by the OPP, Ontario Provincial Police, okay? So, and proven. So the same detective that's on Justin's case is the same detective on Elnaz's case. Here's where it gets more interesting. A lawyer that was hired by Hajtimiri's family, Elnaz's family, it says Elnaz did everything right. She contacted the authorities every time she should have. She had faith in them as she should have to protect her and to look into things effectively. I do not know if the police acted as they should have. And it also says, based on his experience with similar investigations and forensic work, the roughly 3 weeks police had of Elnaz's electronics to look for tracking devices and software was shockingly short for the work to be completed properly. I'm hopeful the work was done, he says, and I'm hopeful that Elnaz's situation was taken seriously, but it is a very short period of time. Where did we hear that before? We heard that Justin's didn't seem to be taken too seriously. In Justin's case, they didn't even search a pond that was 1,000 feet from where Justin lived. Didn't follow protocols. Made excuses, still make excuses. In fact, I did a phone video for Justin in his case, and I worked on that thing for days, got it all up to par, showed everybody that this is what's going on. This phone was taken out of the home, this and this. You know what the detective said? Oh, I didn't get that information. What? Family actually sent you the information. No, we didn't get it. Oh, here, go to It's a Crimes channel. She did your work for you. Anyways, I'm a little spicy about that. So, back to this. It's shockingly short for the work to be completed properly. So think about this. December, there's tracking devices on Elnaz's car. She takes it into the shop. They find the tracking devices. She calls the cops. They tell her to go to somewhere safe. How did they find Elnaz? Right? A little interesting. So this gets me a little spicy. It says, I'm hopeful the work was done, and I'm hopeful that Elnaz's situation was taken seriously, but it is a very short period of time. And then it says, how Hajtimiri's car and electronics were analyzed is just one of the several aspects of the police investigation this guy finds concerning in the wake of her abduction. And it says, the lawyer told CBC News that despite the parking garage attack and evidence of surveillance making it clear Elnaz was in imminent danger, the circumstances of her abduction suggest there wasn't an organized plan to keep her safe. What happened to Elnaz on the night of her abduction doesn't really suggest that there was active police observation of her home. If that is correct, it is not promising with respect to an organized plan or Elnaz's situation being taken seriously. This does not surprise me. I said this in the video that I did. I, I'm going to get you guys, I'm going to give you this video to watch on it when you're done the live stream. But I'm going to show you so you can really see. I dive a little bit more into the details, obviously, in the case. Only done one video so far, but I am getting some of these new updates, and it is very concerning for Elnaz. She still has not been found. I'll post that there for you guys. She's still not found. So OPP is worrisome. I can tell you that. And from this main detective, all kinds of protocols it never happened, and it's very concerning. How, if you are a detective, okay, one of the detectives says they didn't even search all the way around because they didn't know that you could actually go around the pond. Ponds are a circle typically, right? Grab a map. Anyways, I'm super mad. I don't have problems with authority, but this one I do. There's all kinds of things. They said he killed himself and walked himself to a pond 1,000 feet away. He wouldn't even get a portion of the way to get to the pond. So it's so frustrating. Then when I hear Elnaz is missing, that's a big, huge red flag. So I don't know what happened because they're hush-hush, right, about this ex-boyfriend, but he's getting a stalking charge, so perhaps he knows these 3 other guys. But at the same time, where the heck is she? So I don't know what's going on to this point, but it sounds pretty, it's pretty bad. Maybe I will. It seems like there's a real issue with Canadian police only taking certain victims seriously and are incredibly biased on race, education, or income level. Well, I'll tell you a little story. We'll do a little story that's related. I would say, how long has it been now? 15 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I had a stalker. And I called the cops. This guy was actually texting me anonymously. He went to, back in the day, they had internet cafes. And basically what he was doing was texting threats to me, to kill me, SA me, you name it. And I called the cops and I said, this is what's going on. These older gentlemen said, oh, this is a domestic. Like, no. Said, my ex-husband wouldn't do that to me. He would say that to me. He would say these things to my face. No, it's not him. Anyway, they chalked it up to no big deal. And I was afraid for my life for quite some time. So in true Linda style, I took it upon myself to get to the truth. And I found out the truth. And I found out who it was. And I called this other guy. I called the cops again, but this young buck comes to the door, right? Like he's fresh on the force. And he looks at me, he goes, I'll be right back. He goes, I give him whatever he needs. I give him a license plate, I give him whatever, right? So he goes and he comes back, is taken care of. So we go to court. Now the judge doesn't want to give me a restraining order. So I had to wait for a restraining order. I think I would wait a month or 2 months for a restraining order. So I did not sleep for months on end. I had a little boy too at the time, right? He was little. So I didn't sleep. Anyway, So the two guys just automatically, yeah, it's a domestic. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not listening to what I'm saying. And this young buck charged him with criminal harassment. And he can't have a weapon, and he can't, go fly anywhere out of Canada, et cetera, et cetera. So years later, when I met my hubby, Craig, you guys all know as Mr. Linda, we went out for dinner, and it was our friend's birthday. And sitting across from me, we're talking 10 years later, sitting across from me is the cop that helped me, that I could never thank him because I never talked to him again. So there he was. And I was like, holy crap, you're the cop. He says, yes. I said, thank you so much. I've never been able to tell you thank you. And we chit-chatted about it. He remembered it. He said, yeah, that was my very first, when I first went on. I said, I know. He was after it. He wasn't putting up with that. No tomorrow. I was like, So anyway, that's a little bit about what happened in the past. Yeah, it was scary. So this guy ended up being somebody I knew. He ended up being somewhere I worked with, and was actually enjoying me going through mental torture. And so I started putting two together, like I do with connecting the dots. And he regretted it. He lost his job, and they didn't tell me when court was. They did not tell me. And I just miraculously found out. I picked up the phone, was like, when is this guy going to court? They're like, tomorrow. I was like, oh, hell no. I got my victim impact statement. I was like, he is not doing this to one more woman ever again, because I knew that if he was doing it to me, I'm sure there were others. And this guy, you would have never thought, right? So I marched my butt down there, and they read the text out loud. His parents were there, and these were nasty texts, right? And he's like, I'm sorry, Linda, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're not sorry. You're just sorry you got caught. And anyway, there was no way. I was going down there, and I was making sure this guy wasn't going to do this to another woman again. So that's the side story of the night. Exactly. So I'm little, but I got a little bit of a bite. Anyways, that's that in this story. Let's go to the next one. We are going to talk about the West case. Not a whole lot of updates, but there's been a giant, huge thing in the case, right? I did a couple videos on there. I did one video or two videos on the updates. Plus, I did a live stream when they first got arrested. So Jacqueline and Trezell West were arrested. Oh, there we go. There he is. Jacqueline and Trezell West were arrested on March 1st in the murders of Orrin Orson West, or their bio names, Classic and Sincere. They pled not guilty to 2 felony charges of second-degree murder, 2 felony charges of willful cruelty to a child, and a misdemeanor charge of falsely reporting an emergency, because they searched all of 6 minutes and then reported them missing. But they've been missing for 3 months. So it's September. And their trial is in May, on May 23rd. That's where I was getting May earlier. I said today's May 17th. No, the live stream. Trials in May 23rd. They were indicted by a grand jury, so they skipped the preliminary hearing. They go straight to trial. Also, there's a gag order in the case. So anyone who has access to the file cannot speak publicly about it. And basically that, guarantees a fair trial for them. And they can't sway the public, the public's opinion, but how we feel about it. The boys have yet to be found. I'm just going to take a little sip here. That's our Linda protecting our people. I tell you, I see anybody. It's like a hazard for me too, though. I was telling my son, about this one time. Somebody came on the train and they were pretending to be like use a cane, but he was actually a shyster, and he hit an old man over the head with a cane. And I saw this on the C train, so on the train, the commuter train, on in Calgary, and I had to say something, so I'd get in between. I had to get in between, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good, but at least they didn't hit the old man. I can't watch that not on my watch. Anyway, so I get feisty. It's been a couple times in my life. I'm only 5 feet tall, but I'm feisty. So anyway, it is what it is. Thank you, Open Minded, for the super sticker and the super chat. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm done the vid, okay? There's just a little bit of coughing sometimes. I'm talking a lot tonight. Heather, let me find you here. I want to know how Wanda West and his brother are not arrested when they said they saw the boys at Thanksgiving, and there's no way because they were gone in September. Things that make you go, indeed. Thank you, Heather. There's going to be a lot of things, I think, on that. This reminds me, like that part reminds me how we heard from Lori's mom, Janice, saying, well, I talked to JJ on October 1st when JJ was already gone. So there's a few things surrounding this. I think a lot of people have chitter chatter about. I don't know all the details on that, but I've heard some chitter chatter. Yes, I'm part Italian. Yes. Yes, I'm part Italian. My father's from Malta, though, so he's Maltese. Okay. I don't want to start coughing. Let me take one more drink and then we'll keep going. Something's fishy. All right. How many do we have to go? We're doing pretty good for time here. We're doing pretty good. I'm Italian also, so I get feisty even at 60. I know, like it's just one of those things, right? It's just one of those things. Okay, let's talk about Barry Morphew. We have a few things to talk about because there's a hot mess in this one too. Everyone says we look alike. Kind of do. But you're younger. Okay. Do not cross an Italian ever. See, there we go. You know. Yeah, I did see this. Did you see the interview with the mother of 2 children who were adopted by the West before? Yes. I think this has been remedied, though. I think this, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys, but I saw it. So what Dent Machine is talking about is there was an interview with a mother who said at some point her children were in the care of Trezell and Jacqueline. So, but from my understanding, that has been cleared up, but I don't know. Yeah, see, there you go. You are younger, a lot younger. Okay, so I'm not too sure. I'd have to find out that. I don't want to say either way because I don't know what the deal is. Now, if you want to watch the cases that I've already talked about, even on Trezell's, interesting. You guys got to go back and see. Let me give you another video that I just did. Not just, but yeah, I guess last week. It feels like a lifetime ago. Okay. I did this video initially on January 7th of last year. So what is that? 13 months ago, 14 months ago. And the video I did that I just gave you is a video putting together my thoughts now and also back in January of 2021. And it's crazy when you look at it now with the information that I gave a year ago and the information that we know now. Note says, those children paychecks. Wanda worked at CPS for years and had friends there after she left. Paula says, hit the like button. Yeah, please do. And if you'd like to subscribe, please subscribe. Lots of stuff coming. Lots and lots of stuff coming. Always. Okay. Ian says, has there been any updates in regards to family who asked for proof of life? The West had the kids at some stage. I don't know. I really don't know what's happening with this mom who came up and said that. So all right, let's go to Bears. Oh, I got to read this to you because you're going to like this. I don't know. Some of you will find this funny. So my hubby is a paramedic. Most of you know, some of you may not. And my husband sends me a text yesterday. It says, we took over a patient called Barry. I kept calling him Bear. I just find that funny because, I call him Bear. And the reason why I call him Bear, okay, is because he calls himself, his nickname, Bear, from his registration long ago for baseball. So I always call him Bear. Oh, and a Canadian's hanging out. Hello, Julie. Welcome. Okay. So there's a mess in the case, okay? A little bit of a mess, but there is a silver lining, and I'm going to get to the silver lining in a minute. So Barry's lawyers are trying to get the case dismissed, right? They're saying, let's dismiss this. He didn't do anything. He's innocent, blah, blah, blah. And there's also news about the DNA, which I think is the silver lining. Okay. And so now we also have a change in venue, and it's happening an hour away in Canyon City, which is east of Salida. Okay. I think a little south too. Can't remember. Now, they want to throw out the case. There was just a recent hearing. And basically what's coming up is CBI's agent, Joseph Cahill, told law enforcement officers that arresting Mr. Morphew was premature and the worst decision that could be made. He also said the case was not remotely ready for anybody to move forward. That was what's in the motion, okay? And then what it was also in the motion or what was also in there by the defense, okay, let me get this. This is a lot to remember, okay? It is abundantly clear, they said, that the prosecution not intentionally withheld massive amounts of exculpatory evidence prior to the preliminary hearing. Probable cause would not have been found. The only just remedy is dismissal of the case. Sorry, guys, it's hard to read these sometimes. So what all the articles are saying is basically, Joseph Cahill said this and that and the other thing, and then you start actually reading it. Joseph Cahill didn't say that he shouldn't have been arrested. He just wanted more time. What they wanted was more time to look over evidence, to, dot their I's and cross their T's, and be able to do this strategically. So he felt, in his opinion, that it was premature to move forward and arrest Barry. Now, also, there was an investigation that happened with Agent Cahill. So he was transferred into a different unit, and that was said to be before the preliminary happened, that it was starting to be in the works. After the preliminary, Cahill went to a different department. It was supposed to be the marijuana unit. And what happened was he was going to resign, and the day he was resigning, he shot his hand accidentally. His gun went off accidentally at his house. And so that's when there was an investigation that happened. And this is what came out when they were asking a bunch of questions. This is what's happening about the Morphew case, and he felt it was premature. So hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of all that happened in the hearing. I did that in 10 minutes? Basically. They were waiting for tests to still come back. And what else? There was a concern that Barry was a flight risk, they said, but there was some that said no, they didn't believe he was a flight risk. The defense said that they went to Mexico, meaning the daughters and Barry, during this time and came back. I didn't know Barry went to Mexico. I knew the girls went on a trip. I didn't know Barry went on a trip to Mexico. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that until recently. So so that's interesting to me that he went. So they said, well, he went to Mexico and he came back. He wasn't a flight risk. But what they didn't talk about, or maybe they did and just the reporters aren't talking about it, was remember that right around the time that Barry was getting arrested, which was May 5th, 2021, right? Suzanne went missing May of 2020. Barry got arrested then. He was doing some interesting things like selling his home, selling his property, his other property, which he took a loss on. So he was doing some of those things. I could see if they were thinking he was going to flee. And I remember talking about this, around the time that Barry was arrested, that there was some things that maybe he was going to take off. And maybe that's why they pounced. They did talk about, once a person gets arrested, the time starts ticking, right? Now you're under the gun because you have to have, this amount of time for, right to speedy trial, this and this and this, and then it just keeps going, right? You're on a schedule. So they just wanted to be extra careful. Now here's what's interesting too. This is an moment because you know how we keep talking about the darn DNA? The DNA from Suzanne's glove box that they found, and it was a partial match, which I keep harping about. That partial match doesn't mean it's a match, even though, you have Barry's lawyers wasting huge amounts of time. Here's non-muffler guy. Oh, it was just a baby bit. They're wasting huge amounts of time. This is a match and this is somebody. Why didn't you do that? This could be this and this could be that and this could be the guy. Well, partial match is partial match. So all the matches have been ruled out. So this now is a moot point. We don't have to talk about the damn DNA any longer. It's all done. So it's not, because remember, one of the matches had to do with essay assaults, right? Essays in 3 different states: Tempe, Arizona, Chicago, and where's the other one? Remind me. Indiana, I think. Is it Indiana? I can't remember. So that doesn't mean that that's the person. A partial match is, and I learned this more since my last video in CODIS, a father, a son, and I think possibly grandfather. Basically, it's tight. Like this is a partial match. This is a relation to whoever did the essays, not the person. So they also argued that, look, Suzanne's vehicle was secondhand. It could have been the person or somebody who touched the vehicle before. That scared a lot of people who didn't know a lot about DNA. It scared people because they're going, oh my gosh, that could be the person. And in court, they played it like that. And even in Dateline, that I covered it in my last video, I was talking about how even the defense attorney, who's not part of the case, but he's a defense attorney, and he talked about, well, if you got that, that's not looking good. Well, that bothers me because no, that's not true. It's a partial match. It's not like it's just a cousin or, just a relation. So, man, it's bad. So it's frustrated. So now I'm going to bring this up because we have to all the time, because it's important. Barry, I hope you guys watch some of my other videos because I'm ripping into the affidavit. And Barry did some seriously red flag searches for some 14-year-old children in a sexual manner. And it's buried in the affidavit. And we need to bring that to light because that's not the only thing he searched. And that was only 3 days worth of searches. So what's this dude searching 363 days or 362 days in the year? Nobody's talking about that. One other thing. This is cute. Thank you. 1.7 in chat and only 803 likes. Give a like if you agree. Barry's a creep. He just is. I don't care if people are team Barry. You do not search for 14-year-old girls in that kind of a manner. Ever. So exactly. Could have been a mechanic. Exactly. So anyways, they're dismissing the DNA. So we don't have to worry about that ever coming up again. So this is a really good thing, I believe, for the prosecution, because now there's no for days and days and days on end. Now, remember even preliminary, how we're like, what the heck? Why is the defense taking all the time and talking? They just wanted talk, so they, take up all the time and then they waste the time. I don't know what they're thinking, but yeah, so Barry's no saint, regardless if he is guilty of Suzanne's situation or not. He sitting there searching for that kind of thing is absolutely disgusting. And why isn't that brought to light? Now, what else do we have to talk about there? He is going back to court on March 30th for a motions hearing. Then April 19th, a pretrial readiness conference, and then the 28th of April is his jury trial. And that's going to go on for quite some time. One of the things also coming up is the domestic violence bit. A lot of people are getting upset at this. I agree, but what they're saying and what my understanding is it's not all domestic violence that they're not including in the trial. It's only the hearsay portion. So what Suzanne's friend said, whenever it's something they said, that it's not being admissible. But my understanding, the texts are still admissible, and what Suzanne is saying is admissible. So that's my understanding. It's not completely. Somebody was saying there was a petition of I can't remember. There was a petition about it, and people want a petition to get Judge Lama off the case for not including the domestic violence. But from my understanding, he's including the text, just not what the hearsay is, not what the chitter chatter is. Yeah. Yeah. The chipmunks were typing. That's why they were after the 14-year-olds, the chipmunks. The disgusting search was in January. That was 5 months before Suzanne went missing and dead. And it was a period of 3 days that they had in the affidavit. So he was searching for a 14-year-old, grade 9, who had her first experience, let's just say, on YouTube. It was a YouTube video, apparently, and got to a certain base. And so that was Barry's, interesting search. And he also searched for Ashley Madison, which you cheat on your wife with, right? Now, I understand Suzanne was cheating too. I'm not saying that's not good either, because it's not good. However, Barry's we have to talk about the pedophile thing. We just have to. What are you doing at 53 years old or 51 at the time, looking at a 14-year-old doing these kinds of things? And he was searching for cute girls in Salida. And he goes to gym to go and, take a look at other women. And making them feel uncomfortable, that's a fact. It's in the affidavit. Melissa, nice to see you. Now you're at work. Thank you. Thanks for your super chat. I'll just, earbuds or pretend. So he is also not allowing a DV expert witness. That's interesting. I did not know that. I'm going to write that down so we can do some updates on that. Those filthy chipmunks, right? Yeah, this is important information that needs to get out. It really does. Of all the other things, like, this is really, how would you feel if that was your daughter and he was searching her up? I don't like that at all. Okay, let's see where you are. Yep, he did that too. Remember, I put that in my video as well. He touched Suzanne's friend inappropriately while the friend's husband had his back turned and copping a feel. So it's disgusting. Alvin! That was funny. That was funny. Okay. So what else, you guys? I have more to go, so stay here with me. Give a little like, subscribe if you need to or want to. I have more stuff coming, interesting stuff coming. Oh, you were chosen for jury duty. I've never been chosen. Ever, never. Knock. Yeah. Barry's excuse for his suspicious actions, he always has answers for his blamed on hunting chipmunks or looking for an elk. It's interesting in the affidavit. Remember how he said he was turning left? Sorry, he saw a bull elk and then turned left. Well, they proved that where he said he saw the bull elk and where he turned left was impossible to see the bull. So you know what other kind of bull that is. All right. So let's, speaking of bull, Letecia. That's a little update on her. So Letecia Stauch, for those of you who don't know, she's the stepmother who is on trial for the murder of Gannon Stauch, her stepson. And he was found in a suitcase in Florida from Colorado. And she has been going through competency evaluations. She's done 2. But then she first pled not guilty. But then she just entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. So off she goes. She has to be assessed and all that stuff that pertains to that plea. So we were supposed to start, in 2 weeks, we were supposed to start her trial, but that's been pushed out. She was supposed to be in court today and that we would get an update as to what's going on. However, that has been vacated, and now she doesn't go till April 21st is her status hearing. Then we got to find out when they have time for the trial. So this is already pushed out. We've had enough of her shenanigans. However, what's interesting about that too, I wonder if I could pull it up. In my last vid, did I do it in? I think I did in my case updates video when she first pled in her insanity plea, and I mean basically in a plea like that, now you're saying, okay, I know what happened, but it's because I'm insane, right? But I was giving different stats on the cases and what really happens and what the stats are for, successful cases that go forward with this. And it's pretty low. So, I mean, in some circumstances, I wonder if she's going, okay, this is my reality now. I got to think of something different. She's constantly making things like a circus constant. It's been an absolute crazy clown show for the past 2 years. Pretty much. And now this came out. So I'm a little shocked at that coming because I'm wondering if she's going, okay, I'm backed in a corner now. I got to think of something else. But we'll see. I don't think this is going to be, they're not coming back. She's not insane. She acts like it. She's flicking on lights, turning around, talking to whatever and pretending, in my opinion. But it was interesting because one of the texts she did before all this happened was, somebody's going to, I wonder if they'll think differently. I wonder if they'll think differently about what happens or something like that. She's not going to be deemed insane. I can guarantee you that. In my opinion. Dr. T ruined my vacation to Colorado with her shenanigans. She's officially okay. Okay. So another person took time off and her vacation was ruined too because of Letecia. Now, I have not booked anything yet, but I can't wait to be there when she gets sentenced. Can't wait. So I'd love for her to just, see her in that 1 minute. She's just evil. Yeah, Kimberly. Everybody, at this point, some people's like, oh, I can't even deal with her, because I post in the community post, here's what's going on. She's supposed to go to court. This is now what it is, blah blah blah. And people are just roll their eyes at her because it's just a constant she just constantly screws with you. That's all she does. Every time I hear a true crime story from Canada, I'm shocked how incompetent law enforcement is. Well, I will say though, have you heard of the Robert Leeming case? Because I did a video on that, and he is it's upcoming. He's going to be, I think it's on the 13th, he's going to be sentenced. They call him, Canada's Chris Watts, or Chris Watts 2.0. And he did a ridiculous interview while drunk. And these are days after his girlfriend and her baby girl were missing. And he ended up showing where the bodies were because two guys did a sting, two cops, undercover cops. So I'll give it for Calgary. That was excellent work. Excellent work. And I was talking to one of my buddies because I was talking to him about the incompetence of the OPP on Justin's case. And he's cadaver dog handler. And we're having a chit chat about it. And I said, what's the deal with over in Ontario? Like, honestly, what's the deal? And he said something about out east, they have less time for training. Not that it's all that, but he's just giving me a little tidbit than what these guys do. Yeah, I thought, that's interesting. I had no idea. So, I mean, maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But the detective's been there for 25 years, so I don't know what his problem is. He just doesn't care. Either that, or maybe he's going on, maybe he's retiring and he just doesn't care no more. Or he just doesn't care because Justin was living in a trailer and didn't care. I don't know what his deal is. He did say that he was going to take care of this phone information. So let's see if he actually did that, because I did it, I don't know, 6 months ago. I feel bad for Gannon's family too. Dr. Edwards says, still believe in your triangle though. Yeah, the triangle, we still talk about it. There's still stuff that, I don't know. There's another video I'd like to do that's very fascinating. It has to do with all cases, but also could pertain to Barry Morphew's case. I think this is her ace in the hole. Remember that? I wonder when they talk about that, it's going to be interesting with her insanity plea. I'm fascinated a little bit about that because if we think back, all the crazy things she's done. Remember, she wanted to represent herself and try to escape from the jail and bribe somebody to escape. And of course, we can't forget of Aguardo with a G. Where are you? I see somebody in there. Where is that? See if I can find you. I saw the name and I didn't know if I can find him again. All right. Sorry, sometimes I go quiet because I'm trying to read, and some people get upset at that. Oh, yeah, and the letter sent to the judge. Remember that? A couple of them. At one point, I just threw all my papers in the air. Yeah, thank you, Ian. You know, I stayed up every night just trying to find him. I really I just wanted to find him. I still he has a special place for sure in my heart. That little boy and his family. Um, you know, I can't wait to see justice. That's for sure. I won't stop until she's in. Terry says triple that. I can't wait either. Missing 19-year-old kidnapped on the 12th with her car waiting for shuttle to work. Mom's desperate. Linda. Okay, let me write down the name. Nevada. Thank you. Thanks, Verna. Okay, where are we at? A little bit about the Moab case. I did 2 videos on that. That's with Kylen Schulte and Crystal Turner. And I did 2 videos this week on their case and their timeline. They're the women that we've heard. It was the same time around Gabby Petito's case. And Kylen Schulte worked at the Moonflower. That's the same spot where we heard with Gabby Petito having a fight with Brian Laundrie. Okay. But Kylen and Crystal were camping just outside of Moab, about 40 minutes. And they said that there's a creepy guy or a creeper guy around their campsite. So that was the Thursday this guy came around. On Friday, it was August the 13th, Friday the 13th at night. They went into town. They went to a tavern, hanging out. They were seen on surveillance, you know, having a good time. And they talked to their friend about this creeper guy again. You know, they said, look, if anything happens to us, we were murdered by this guy. He's a creeper dude. So they go back to their campsite. And well, before they go to the tavern, this guy comes back because Thursday he was there, then he left. Then they were ready to go to the tavern. He came back. And then on Saturday morning, they left their campsite and they went into town again. Now, they had their Kia Rio at the campsite and they go drive into town, and Crystal has a motorbike in storage. So they picked up the motorbike in storage. They parked their Kia at the McDonald's and they drove around on a motorbike. This is around 9 a.m. They pull up behind one of their friends. They're like, okay, we're going to go chit chat. So they pull off, they go to a Chevron gas station and they chit chat for 10 minutes. In this 10-minute conversation, guess who comes up again? This creeper guy. And they said, we're going to go and we're going to move our campsite because this creeper guy is claiming this is my area. You need to leave. So they're around town for a little bit. Now, it takes, with drive time and, you know, swapping the motorcycle and whatnot, it takes about 15 minutes from my calculations. You can see my video on my site about that. And so they hang out a bit. Now, at 11:35 a.m., based on audio, is when the women were killed. There were shots heard and screams heard. I need to know more about this audio because I don't know in full what kind of audio and all that, but I know from Kylen's father, Sean Paul, that he said it was 11:35 a.m. these girls were killed, and they were found in the creek, and they were partially clothed. Okay, and their little bunny was safe. The bunny was in a makeshift cage near the tree. So they go. Where can I put this? I'll put it like that. They go back to the campsite, and at some point, I don't know if they how long they were at the campsite for, but at some point they get killed, and this guy is gone. And this week is when things are starting to dial in. We didn't know it was 11:35. That's what was just being announced. It was 11:35 a.m. We didn't know about them being in town in the morning, and two separate witnesses place Kylen riding the bike, and Crystal behind her. Two different witnesses. So now they're pleading for everybody. Okay, go look at your web cameras or your dash cams and see, right? So not only that, look at it before, look at it after that time, because what if this creeper dude was following them all morning because he's ticked off that they don't come and they don't see, what was I going to say? Like they just want, what if he is following them? So let me get you, I don't know, somebody, maybe if you could find it on one of my mods, maybe, or somebody in here, you could just find some of them so I don't have to stop my train of thought. That would be awesome. Oh, sorry, Heather, I missed it. Was it her that asked for bench trial? I don't remember that. Was it? Maybe the judge, I think the judge was explaining to her what that would mean, but I could be wrong because there was a few, but that might have been it. And threats in her peanut butter. That's right. I'm a little behind on here. Let me get to where we're at here on the comments. Sometimes you guys are chit-chatting away and it goes way up. Barbie says, I think this creepy person probably goes to that spot a lot. Probably got mad because they were there. Obviously, probably wants to be there alone. Has anyone died there? I don't know if there's anybody else, but he was pretty adamant that was his spot, apparently. So, thank you, Maui girl. Thanks for that. So that's the other one that I've covered this week. You guys let me know which ones you are like to see this week or that you're tuning into. Justin Evans, I did say a little bit tonight about his case. I know that the people who are in the area, supporters of Justin and his family, they're really wanting the Fifth Estate to get involved. I agree. I would love for them. I have coordinated with somebody that I'm hoping that we can do a live stream, and he'll be a guest on the show. I won't tell you who it is yet, but he'll be a guest on the show, and that will help, hopefully, in the Justin Evans case to get justice. It's so disheartening to see that the authorities don't seem to give a hoot. If you're a detective and you want to solve this case, why aren't you going and finding his phone information? I think it's a bunch of BS. I think it's lies, and just to cover up, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Jackie, I have the information because I had an assistant for the last couple of months, but the assistant is no longer with us. So I have that information. Now I have to double check the information, and then hopefully I can do that. Welcome, Marlene. I have the strong unending feeling about walking the triangle. Something is moving my spirit about this. Yeah, this triangle's been the bane for me. Nikki Lee says, I agree with you on the just in case. So he still needs to get justice. Now, just because I don't do a video on him doesn't mean I'm not working on things, because there's still, I go through, I do a brain dump at night trying to figure things out on every freaking case. Every day is, the same thing for me. I just try and do whatever I can. And whenever I get enough info, then I make a video. The assistant gone is a good thing. Yeah. So one other thing, Marshal Iwaasa, I did his case a while back. I talk about him. Oh, there's Justin right there and Gannon. He's still missing. Marshall is, and I might take a little drive. I've said this before, but I'm waiting. It's still snowing. Like it snowed last week, and a couple times. I'm so done with it. Maybe when it gets a little bit better, then I will go to Lethbridge, which is a couple hours away, and maybe I can do some sort of, on the spot where he was last seen, and walk you through that. His sister did just contact me. I guess her Facebook was hacked or something, so she just contacted me. So hopefully we could do something as well. Oh, Paula, you live in Lethbridge. That's awesome, because I would like to do something on that. So, a few things in the works. Now, there's some other crazy stuff too happening in some other cases. I'm doing my best to catch up. I know there's a lot. Magen Fieramusca was in court recently too. Let me give you guys the dates of upcoming things, because Magen Fieramusca is going to be, she's in the Heidi Broussard case. I covered her. She was the first case I covered when I first started this channel. And she is, it's been a long wait for her trial to go. And I think they're just hitting preliminary. I didn't even write this in April. April 28th, I believe, is the date for her. But where are we? We're in March. So tomorrow, Chad Daybell is going to be in court, the 23rd in court, and then Barry Morphew on the 30th. Letecia was supposed to be in trial. As I said, she's going to be moved. And also, no, the Wests are going to be in May. I said that. In April, there's a motions date for Megan Boswell, Barry Morphew, quite a few in April for Barry Morphew. Plus, he's actually starting the trial on the 28th. Letecia is on the 21st of April. Daybell again on the 20th. And then Keegan Klein, he's the guy who has been in the news in the Delphi case. And he's going to be, there's a status conference, pre-trial conference on the 21st for him. He did a interview and he said that the authorities from Delphi told him that he was the last person to chat with Libby. He said that from his mouth. So No, Amy, I do mostly American trials actually, and I have sprinkled some Canadian cases. And I've done one from Australia, but mostly from the States and then some in Canada. It's really hard in Canada to get information, so I do what I can. But the Robert Leeming case, you guys got to see this guy. He, like, you thought Chris Watts' interview was weird. Like, he laughs, he does all kinds of weird things. Like, let me give you the link to that weirdo. Give you that. Barry is, I see you, Martin. Hello. Nice to see you, Martin. Barry is the 30th at 9 a.m. for a motions hearing. And then in April, Barry is the 7th, the 8th, the 19th, and the 28th is his trial. And then it goes on for weeks. Brad says, I am very impressed with the way you present the information from these cases to your audience. You obviously do your homework and know what you're talking about. Enjoy your channel much. Well, thank you, Brad. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all of you guys. And especially watching my videos. I do work hard on them. I know sometimes it takes me longer than the average bear to pump out videos. I do like to get in it, and I like to do my own work. I don't just, go and watch somebody else's work and then just mimic it and post it. I actually do my own work on it. So it takes me a little bit longer, but I'm very, very, very grateful for you guys to be patient for when I upload and for watching. I really do appreciate it. I am not. I did, I did try to start a course on it, but it was so boring. It was so boring. And then I learned that I'm encouraged to go work in a different part of that, not private investigation, but like the data analyst kind of analysis stuff. I don't know. I just do what I do and I put it on YouTube. And I do the work apparently for the OPP because they didn't think to check the phone. I can make digs at them. It's been a year and a half of just absolute ridiculousness. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I add the bloopers. See, if you guys stay to the end, sometimes you're rewarded with some bloopers. Actually, I think the Robert Leeming case I had the bloopers in there. You guys are sweet. The timestamps will be there. So, Nicole, what'll happen is, because I don't know in the beginning when the timestamps will be, right? So after this video is processed, I will go and put all the cases on there and then have the timestamps for you. So it's a little bit annoying for you right now, probably, but I don't know what the timestamps will be until I actually rewatch this and see when I stop and start. And then I'll put the links to each video. So I do encourage you, for whatever video or whatever, case I'm talking about, then zip over to my playlist and check them out. I do some crazy deep dives, and I do timelines, and I love connecting the dots. I do some coded stuff. I love decoding. I cannot wait, you guys, for this. I cannot wait for the Ray Rivera decoding. I keep talking about it, but it takes hours and hours and hours and freaking hours. And then not only did I decode it, now I have to go and script it so that you guys can understand it. And then I got to film it so that you can understand it. So it's a work in progress. Lord, if I can do it by 2023 at this point. So happy birthday, Patricia. So, okay, so where are you guys at? What case are you like, I need Linda to do that? Let me know. I will follow Megan's trial, both Magen Boswell and Magen Fieramusca. Magen Boswell is not going until September of 2022. So we still have a few months to go on that. So I will be covering Barry's. We'll go to Barry's trial, then Letecia's trial, and then we'll go to Magen Boswell, and then we'll go to Chad and whoever else is in between. I'm sorry, and then the West boys too. Their case is on May. So it's going to be busy in trials. This is now to the point where I haven't done trials yet, right? We've done preliminary hearings, but I haven't done trials yet because I started 2 years ago and all these cases are now coming to fruition. Hi, Heidi. I know, I recognize your name. I know you're the OG. It's a very busy year, so it's going to be interesting on covering these cases and the trials, and it's going to be long days, but I am committed for that. That's for sure. Heather, you know what? Heather asked if we could do can we do maybe a live during the trial? Some of these cases we're not going to be able to watch together. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. However, I will be doing updates on the trial for sure. So we'll have to figure something out. I don't know what's going to be happening yet. If we're allowed to see some of that stuff, this is my green territory. I don't know what's going on. So if we can watch or not, maybe in some of these I'll actually be there if I can. I don't know. Yes, I'm at the point with Summer Wells. I don't have a lot of information to connect dots or timeline because I've done that. However, if there's some new information that's concrete information, then I will look at it, work on it for sure. Thank you, Stephanie. Linda started the trend of using maps to give followers more insight into timelines and location. I am so detailed, the way my mind works. I need to know, okay, what does that look like? What does that look like? I don't know. I do my best to convey that. Some things I'm learning. Some people are giving me feedback like, you need to keep that picture a little bit longer. Oh, okay. When I'm staring at editing for so long, it looks like a long time. And then even my husband's going, why do you keep that a little bit longer? Oh, I thought that was a long time because it just, sometimes a video takes me 5-6 hours to edit. And when I'm looking and placing the maps and whatever, I'm thinking, once you see something over and over. All right. Yes, I talked about Lori Daybell very first thing tonight. Jalea Davis. It's a closed case, but I would love to hear your thoughts. Cody Bigsby. I know I'm going to be super busy doing this. You guys are too, if you're watching. Ryan Larson, 11-year-old missing autistic boy. I feel he was taken same time. I haven't heard of some of these. Crime Watch Party. Heck yeah. Carrie, I did cover Michael Vaughn. You can check that out in my videos. I know that's the bummer, right? The restrictions, maybe there won't be so many trials available online. I'm already starting to see some of that not available. It's so handy that everybody can watch. People are saying Sherry Papini. Okay. Interesting. I do try and make it very visual. I do. I'm getting better at it, I think. I can always do better and be better at how to convey it. But sometimes what we think in our heads when we're first creating, going, "Oh yeah, that's it," and then you put it in, and people are like, "I don't get it." So then you have to go back and think, "How can I make this better so that it's more understandable or digestible or not boring?" I am not a Virgo. I'm actually an Aries. My birthday is coming up in 3 weeks. Have you heard of the Marilyn Bergeron case in Quebec? No, I haven't. Ah, there we go. Question answered. Letecia did ask for a bench trial. Oh, what is the first case that hooked you on true crime? Teenager, OJ Simpson, chatted in depth with my dad, like driving to school, coming back from school, chit-chatting at night about it. That one was the very first case. That's the case too that I wanted to become a lawyer. I wanted to become a prosecutor. Didn't happen, but that's what I wanted to do after that. Thomas Brown. Man, you guys are watching all kinds of stuff I've never even heard of. That's very sweet. Thank you, Triumph. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out with me. And on St. Patty's Day. Okay, what else? Hello, for another Canadian. Yeah, Martin, we need to have a chit chat about all this stuff. There's something wrong. There's something seriously wrong with them. Thomas says, I would like you to see you do a deep dive in the crazy Summer Wells case. Lots of people coming to surface. My money's on the parents. A lot of lying going on, especially since Jose was found. Lots of info. I'm going to have to figure out some of that info. Somebody was telling me that, or gave me a link. They said Jose was talking for 5 hours. Like tonight, preparing all this stuff took me 6 hours, 6.5 hours, or possibly longer because I'd review this and that. So, if I can get dialed in information, and that information is, you know, a timeline or something where I can connect and go back, and then I would definitely do something like that. Okay. Am I caught up? Yes, I am. Okay, I don't know what this means. Linda, also depends where your ascendant and moon is. I don't know what that means. Help. Oh, yeah, check out the videos. Hopefully they'll just get better, hopefully. I haven't done, you know what's crazy? I haven't done a Daybell case video in quite some time. I never thought I'd say this, but I actually kind of miss doing a Daybell video. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit, like a little bit. Yeah, yeah, everything. And that was long, that was before, was that just around the internet or right before the internet was happening? Isn't that crazy? Um, I saw something. Files in a cold case. My best friend mom was found in David Douglas Park, Vancouver, Washington, same park that Wesley Allen Dodge victim. Wow. Yeah, you can email me at itsacrimeandashame@gmail.com. Just put in the header case suggestion. Oh, date and time of birth. Uh, April 11th is when I was born, and I was born at 1:30 p.m. My twin brother was born at 1 p.m., and it was a half an hour difference because I decided to come out feet first. And back then, they still delivered babies feet first. So here I am. And maybe why I'm a little different. I'll keep working it. I just want a little more information. Maybe I need to take a little trip out there. Oh, the other thing on I meant to mention with Barry Morphew's case is Tyson Draper, who recorded the encounter with Barry. He was on Nancy Grace. I haven't seen it. I was told about it. I don't even know if it aired on Nancy Grace yet, or if it's airing tomorrow, or what it is. I don't remember. But I do know that he is interviewed by Nancy Grace. Okay. I'm just screenshotting something there. What else, you guys? DNA blown apart. Finally, I was working on a DNA video to try and explain it, but now I'm like, well, I don't know if they want to see it anymore now that the DNA has been kiboshed. Your poor mom, Linda. I know. I did come out of hitting the ground running, that's for sure. I did. So, oh, thank you, Miller Nature. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. I'm a little bit out of sorts this week because I had help for a bit. It wasn't, the help wasn't up to par. And now this week is a little odd because I'm not doing things to prepare for my assistant. And I don't know, it's just a weird week, but it's all good. It's going to be all good. Okay. What? Tyson ran into Bear at the convenience store yesterday and went up to talk to him, and Barry hauled ass squealing tires to get away from Tyson. No way. Oh, no way. Oh my gosh. Well, it sounds like something Barry would do with his big bad truck. Wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, little Dylan in Nova Scotia. I know about that case too. I had no idea. So that's interesting. So, yeah, Nancy Grace was in Salida this week for Tyson's prayer vigil. I didn't know there was a prayer vigil. Nancy is doing a special soon. Okay. Nice. Oh my gosh. A quick recap. Ooh, that'll take a little bit long. I basically talked about all the cases so far. I probably am missing a few, but Lori Daybell, she's still getting restorative treatment, but we should find out any day if she's competent or not. Chad Daybell has a hot mess going on in court, and he's back in tomorrow. The lawyers are back in court tomorrow, so I'll update you guys on that. What else? I'll give you the real super Coles notes. Summer Wells, a little while back, a couple weeks back, on the 1st-ish, Candace's mom, Grandis, did an interview, and Candace, like regular Candace, Summer's mom, now has a YouTube channel. And Sheriff Lawson says that Dawn and Candace have lawyered up. Candace says, no, I didn't. But she didn't want to go on camera. And she didn't want to talk about her YouTube channel, and she didn't want to talk about being on Dr. Phil, but yet she was seen 2 days later on her YouTube channel, and she's uploading a bunch of stuff. So I don't know, quite what's going on there, but she's basically videos of Summer, but there was one Q&A that was a little different. And there was a search that went on, but nothing came of it from the authorities. It was around the place. I talked about Brian Laundrie a little bit, and Gabby Petito. Gabby Petito's parents are suing Robert Laundrie's parents for knowing about what Brian Laundrie did. And them not talking to the family and letting them know where Gabby is or what happened. So they're being sued. This is really quick, isn't it? And they're suing for $30,000. There's a woman named Elnaz Hajtimiri. She's Canadian. She's still missing. She was basically abducted from a family/friend's home in January, and by 3 men who posed as cops. And the lawyers questioning the police and their job in helping keep her safe. And then in the West case, that was Trezell and Jacqueline they got arrested on March 1st. And their court date is going to be May 23rd for trial. They have a motions hearing in between. And what else? There's a gag order on the case. Barry Morphew, super mess of a case. We heard tonight that Tyson is with Nancy Grace chit-chatting this week with them. And the DNA that I always talk about is finally no longer an issue. It's dismissed. So we don't have to worry about any of that because it's a partial match, which means it's just a relative of the person who committed this essay that they're all worried about. And there's some hubbub because in court, there's a guy named Agent Cahill who's with CBI, and he thought that it was premature for Barry to get arrested. Not that he didn't think Barry should get arrested, but it's just premature because they wanted to, sort through the evidence and look through stuff and really, do it. And man, that was really quick. Letecia Stauch, her trial's been postponed. Her status hearing has been postponed. She pled not guilty for reason of insanity. And so she had to go for another evaluation. It's different than the other two, but she had to go for another one. And now we're waiting on results. And April 21st is the next status hearing. She should have been in court today, but she's not. And that's it. And then I did a little tiny update on Moab because I did 2 videos on the girls, and they are raising money to do a billboard. I don't think I said that earlier tonight, but they are. And I'll have that GoFundMe in the description box below. And then Justin Evans, we're still waiting on stuff. People are now requesting Fifth Estate to look into it. And I talked a little bit about Marshal Iwaasa, and he's the guy who's been missing for quite some time. And I talked about maybe going to Lethbridge, which is 2 hours away from here, to go check. So I haven't heard anything about Lena from San Antonio. No. Not only that, Patty, but he's searching for 14-year-old children and sexual content with those 14-year-old children outlined in the affidavit. Yep, Letecia is, well, she's a different kind of crazy, right? I thought the parents were suing for 100 grand, several other channels. The news channel that I saw was 30,000. Something that was interesting today. Let's see if I could share this. This is just a side note before I go looking for Gabby Petitos, but I have it down from the news that it was 30,000. So I don't know where they got the 100, but I don't know, maybe it was amended. I don't know. That doesn't sound right, but maybe that's YouTubers copying other YouTubers and running away with it. I don't know. It could be at the 100,000, but mine says 30,000. The filing says damages are at least 30,000, which established jurisdiction. Oh, if Gabby's parents said 100 grand, well, then I guess it's 100 grand. I have 30,000, but okay, 100 grand. I thought 30,000 sounded low too, but you know. Okay, let me show you this. Let's see if I remember how to share a screen. Let's see if you can see it. Here. Okay, can you guys see that? I want to show you something. What's the deal with them being matchy-matchy? Okay. See how they're matchy-matchy in there? I want to show you something else. That was them going to court, all happy. And the reporter said that they were telling jokes in between, you know, the judge going on there. Now, look at this. There's, again, matchy-matchy. What's the deal with this? Anyways, just an observation I found weird. Or interesting. I shouldn't say weird, but just interesting. Yeah, yeah. A hammer emoji? Hello, Donna. Welcome. We've been going for a while now, 2 hours and 21 minutes. Look at that. And I just finished not long ago, did I? It was a lot of stuff. Hopefully I'm all caught up. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it was, I don't know whose error it was, but Carol says, didn't he spend part of Suzanne's GoFundMe money on his truck? I don't know, but I certainly donated, and I would like that money back if it's not going to Suzanne, which obviously it didn't. Mandy says, tardy to the party. I'll watch the whole show tomorrow. What I'll do is once this processes, I will put the timestamps on for you guys so you can watch it and it's not, you know, you can figure out what to do and what to watch. Oh, Teresa, I'm not saying, I'm just saying like even Barry. Yeah, maybe that is. Maybe that's a normal thing that they do. Very matchy-matchy. Oh, it also says it would exceed. So interesting. I'd have to see what ends up being on that detail. No, I certainly can't take on every missing persons case. That's for sure. The sad thing is when my shelf got too full to put the cases that I've personally covered, and it got too full on the shelf, and I had to go digital. How sad is that? Too many people on there. Um, okay. All right, everybody. Oh, I love that. Mimi has my back. Like, share, and subscribe. Well, there's more stuff coming this week. Those in the crime ring, I'll be doing some live streams and some Zooms. And I'm going to be tomorrow working on some more videos, and we'll see. I'm still ripping into the affidavit. I would like to do a video more on the affidavit in Barry Morphew just to get that out there and just be thorough as I like to be. And then we'll go from there. So, all right, you guys, I'm gonna go. I'm wearing my workout pants still, so it's like, you know, business up top, party on the bottom. I need to go do a workout before I go to bed while the processes, and we'll chat again. I miss the live streams, and I'm really hoping that guests will be back on here and we'll do some guest stuff. I think that will be really fun. So thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for your support. And without you guys, there wouldn't be me on here. So we will chat with you soon. Have an awesome night and weekend. Good night.